Welcome, I am the 9mm Atheist. On today's episode, we are going to talk about atheist activism in politics. Now, I think this is an important subject. I see a lot of atheist conversation. I see a lot of theist conversation. And I see a lot of the two mixed in our politics. More so the theist conversation. It seems to me that the vast majority of our politics are Christian themed. Well, this represents a problem for the future of America. When you start teaching an absolute disbelief in science, in reason, understanding, or for that matter, even common sense, you effectively end the future. You damn the future. Science and secularism is what brought America to where it is now. It was not a belief in God or gods. And that said, the point of this video specifically is I have every ounce of respect for the great atheist minds and the secular minds out there like Seth Andrews and Matt Dillahunty, the band Monster on Sunday, love those guys. And Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and the late Christopher Hitchens and the cast of The Scathing Atheist, No Illusions, Lucinda Illusions, Heath Enright and Eli Bosnick, as well as the podcast Cognitive Dissidence with Tom and Cecil. I have an immense amount of respect for the atheist activist movement, and the atheist activist individually. But what I want to see, what I'm not seeing, is even though the atheist community is often better educated than its counterpart, the theist community, I don't see atheists running for office. Not from the lowest levels of government to the highest levels of government. I see no atheist trying to make a concerted effort to make a change. We can do the activist thing all we want, and it has its uses. Activism up to this point, thus far, has been exceedingly powerful. But is that the best we can do? Is all we can do is just be activists and speak out? Is that the best we can do? I don't think so. I think being a better educated person, you have a great power. If knowledge is power, you have a great power. And I don't mean to be cliche here, but great power comes with great responsibility. And we need sound, reasonable, secular voices in our government to help shut down the fringe left, the fringe right, and the evangelical Christian politician. Because the world they are trying to bring about is not a world any one of us wants to live in. Given the opportunity, the evangelical Christian right would make laws based on biblical law. And America would become no better, no greater than the theocratic governments of the Middle East and other countries, other parts of the world. No better than another North Korea. Imagine a world under theocratic rule. Imagine America under theocratic rule based on biblical law. What rights would women have? And take it even a step further than that. Imagine America ran under a white Christian theocratic law. Women would have no rights. They would disappear. Women would not. Over time, women would surrender their rights. The more believers you're by law forced into an indoctrinated society where women, little girls are taught from birth not to speak, not to be heard, not to have authority. Imagine little boys being raised to believe that women are beneath them in every way, and that a woman must subjugate herself to him when he grows up. Then imagine that if the evangelical white Christian had control of America and they were writing laws based on Scripture, imagine the justifications they would find in their Scriptures for owning slaves. And imagine who would the first slaves be? Undoubtedly, it would be women. Moving beyond that, it would likely end up to be African Americans or Mexicans or another denomination that does not agree with the evangelical worldview. We would become the end of the world. The evangelical Christian with their finger on the button, ready to nuke and kill 2/3 of the planet that doesn't agree with their worldview, that have a different religious belief. Now imagine an America that's secular, where everybody has the right to believe as they wish, but they do not get to impose it on another person. They don't get to make biblical, scriptural law. They're allowed to believe what they want so long as they keep it to themselves. Imagine a secular country that had a healthy respect for science. For art. An honest account and study of history, with the capacity to learn from those mistakes, with the capacity to compound on those great victories. Imagine a secular America where there was no resistance to medical science, except that it was done not with monetization in mind, but with a humanist perspective. Christopher Hitchens said it. It was his test. Name for me a moral thing said or done that a that a believer could do that a non-believer couldn't do. If you can't think of one, that's fine. But now here's the second part of it. Name for me a wicked thing said or done in the name of a religion that a believer would do, that a non-believer would never do. I think that speaks volumes. I think that speaks infinitely to itself. It'll take you a long time to figure out something, if anything, that a non-believer couldn't do that a believer could do. But it takes less than a split second to think of something evil or wicked that has been done to somebody else in the name of religion. I realize that liberal progressives are jaded by the system and how voting works, and there are agreements and disagreements to be had on that. And I realize that there are conservative atheists, Republican atheists, secularists, humanists. But I can't understand why liberals don't fight harder for what they believe in. Why progressives are so jaded that they just give up. They say the system is busted, the vote doesn't count, it's pointless to even try. And they just give up. And so a lot of them don't vote, much less run for office. And there are places in this country, a lot of places, where evangelical Christians run unopposed in local offices. Places where an atheist could step out, or a secularist or a humanist could step out, put themselves out there, and likely, believe it or not, I honestly think you could win. Now, I am not intelligent enough. I don't have the background for the politics or the sciences or anything like that, man. I'm a GED with half of a semester of college under my belt. I can't be the one that runs for office. And trust me, I would in a heartbeat. I really would. Because I'm from Minnesota. And if there's ever a state that needs somebody to come back and just make up for Michelle Bachmann, this is the state that needs to do it. Somebody needs to come out as a secularist, as an atheist, or a skeptic, or a humanist, and counter that kind of batshit crazy. Minnesota needs some redemption from that. And I feel a lot of Australians feel they need redemption for Ken Ham. And I'm sure there are some Texans who need redemption from some of their right-wing, evangelical, fanatic elected officials. But there are other states where there are some whole bunch of batshit crazy. Local legislatures, state level, county level government, where people run unopposed. There's nobody there to stop this evangelical from taking that office or keeping that office for the better part of 30 years in some instances. These people run unopposed. And so I think, honestly, I believe, and I have no cause not to,
Okay, coming up to here.
That there's no reason atheists and secularists and humanists and skeptics can't run for office in these areas, in these districts, in these counties. They can't get out. I honestly think they could get out there and make a really good name for themselves at that local level and work their way up. And these are the same people who wouldn't be worried about being popular so much as they are worried about doing, you know, that civic duty that these offices are supposed to uphold. But I'm going to move on from that point. I'd like you to check out my Facebook page. I'm probably going to go there and do some editing because I kind of revamped this channel. And yeah, just search Facebook, 9mm Atheist. And there will be an episode coming up soon as to why I call myself the 9mm Atheist. So there'll be a lot of videos coming up in the next day or week because I have to make up for some of the videos I deleted. I have to redo them. And so yeah, I hope, sincerely hope, that somebody listens to this message, takes it to heart, has themselves the education, or has a friend they think would fit the bill, and try to talk them or show them this video, inspire more secular atheist, skeptic and humanist people to run for office, to make, instead of just being an activist to make a difference, actually getting out there and being one of the lawmakers to make the biggest difference. So, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. Let's get it out there. Let's try to make a better, brighter future for the generations to come, where their education and their futures are brighter. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.